emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Zobu, zobu, reigning by master.
Toya dike, menu dike. Toya dike, menu dike. Kiye jamara dike ruenu, ekwe chenjigo. Kiye jamara dike ruenu, ekwe dagarigo. Omorunga basi, oneme kasi. Omorunga basi.
We are live and we are direct.
Step aside for the game changer.
I tell you the truth. It doesn't. I don't care who you are. I don't get to vote in my life. Name one Yoruba man that is in the tell me a Yoruba man that is
Emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Zobu, zobu, reigning by the emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Zobu, zobu, reigning by
I want revelation. Chinasa, tell me if I am coming out loud and clear. We have done something to radio Biafra. We have done something to radio Biafra. I do not know what is happening. I do not know what is happening. You see how they're messing themselves up in Facebook? Do you see how disgraceful?
the emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Zobu, zobu, reigning
We are live and we are direct. And humanity is you may not like it, and quite frankly, I must understand. If you like it, if you don't like it, it doesn't bother me. We are live and we are direct.
spilling our blood, we'll count our privilege. The word that which emboldens the free shall always be our flag of liberty.
Kiwe duanyi no so ene nkezi omume gị. Kiwe wezugara anyị ọrịa niile nke pụrụ ịdakwasị mmadụ dị ndụ. N'ihi na ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye na-agwọ ọrịa. Anyị wee na-akpọkụ gị onwe gị bụ sinele nke ndị agha ka iwe mere anyị ebere. Ka akwa nke anyị na-ebe ka ude nke anyị na-asụ wee bịa n'iru gị. Ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee guzosie ike. Ka anyị wee n'ikpete maazị nye ha sọgụtụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise.
Kindly watch this video. Now, up to that point, we can agree that the friends fully supported the gentleman to bring the ball from where it dropped. Let's see what happens next. Now, you now discover that the support was not for the gentleman. The support was for him to bring the ball. After he had brought the ball, the friends had no business with him, and so they dropped him to mind his business. Let me tell you something. In life, many people will like you and support you not for who you are, but because of what they are getting from you. And such people can drop you immediately they have gotten what they wanted from you, or when they get someone who offers better than you. Don't die for people who can drop you like chewing gum after getting what they wanted from you. When you rise to the position of power, fame, and wealth, remember to maintain a heart of humility. The respect, the honor, the support, the convenience are for that position, not for you. If a traffic police officer goes to the road in civilian and begins to stop the motorists, do you think they will stop? Definitely no. Why? Because motorists stop for the crown, not for the person. When you rise to fame and stop doing what brought you there, the same people who held you will begin to mock you, stating how you are finished. Why? Because they followed you not because of who you are, but because of what they were getting from you. As you rise in life, there are people you'll offend just by doing the right thing. There are people you'll offend unknowingly because of the innate human weaknesses. Now, those don't matter. But if you choose to use your power and position to show people the material you are made of, then believe you me, when that position is gone, you will suffer guilt and even become paranoid. Remember, you can run away from your enemies, but you can't run away from guilt. And so also, if you use your power and position to impact lives, even if the people don't appreciate you, even if they don't reciprocate, your self-worth will be lifted. At any position you are in life, remember you're human and maintain the heart of humility. Thank you.
Self-acclaimed leader of the proscribed secessionist indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has, for your information, been intercepted through the collaborative efforts of the Nigerian intelligence and security services. He has been brought back to Nigeria in order to continue facing trial after disappearing while on bail regarding 11-count charge against him. He has been accused of engaging in subversive activities that include inciting violence through television, radio, and online broadcast against the Nigerian state and institution. For your information, distinguished members of the press, Kanu is as at now being produced before Federal High Court in continuation of hearing of his case in respect of which he has evaded and indeed jumped bail.
Good morning, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom all over the world. I bring you greetings from Western Cape, South Africa. This is Western Cape Media. I am the host, Mazi Nnamdi. I say to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. To some of you, depends where you are watching me from. I thank you for joining me this morning. As you already know, today is 19th of June, 2023. Today marks, or rather makes it 730 days since our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was kidnapped and eventually extraordinarily renditioned to the animal kingdom zoo, Nigeria, where he is incarcerated today. Fellow Biafrans, it's not something to be happy or smiling about. Today is a day that we all must always remember as a day that darkness before us as IPOB. Our leader was kidnapped in Kenya today, 19th of June, 2021 in Kenya. And to make the matters worse, it was kept a secret to us, IPOB, and the entire 70 million Biafrans. None of us know that a leader of over 70 million people were kidnapped in a foreign land. It is a shame that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as a leader of IPOB and Biafra at large, could be kidnapped without the knowledge of Biafrans. And after 9 days, when he was eventually brought before zoo court in Abuja, that was when the news broke out that our leader was kidnapped. It is a shame to every one of us that are into the struggle for the restoration of Biafra. Our leader was kidnapped in Kenya, and nobody knows. The secret was kept sealed until the Zoo Nigeria by themselves broke the news to us. As you already see, I played it here, where Zoo Attorney General, the person of Malami, where he was informing the press and the world how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was intercepted in a foreign land. Remember that he didn't mention how or where our leader Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. He didn't inform the world or the Nigerian people anything about the extradition or the information he could pass to the world and to Nigerians that Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was intercepted. I will be playing the video again the second time so that you will understand what he was saying to Zoo Press and to the world at large. Now, listen.
Self-acclaimed leader of the proscribed secessionist indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has, for your information, been intercepted through the collaborative efforts of the Nigerian intelligence and security services. He has been brought back to Nigeria in order to continue facing trial after disappearing while on bail regarding 11-count charge against him. He has been accused of engaging in subversive activities that include inciting violence through television, radio, and online broadcast against the Nigerian state and institution. For your information, distinguished members of the press, Kanu is as at now being produced before Federal High Court in continuation of hearing of his case in respect of which he has evaded and indeed jumped bail.
Clearly, and he didn't mention where Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was intercepted. He didn't mention the process he went through before bringing him back to Nigeria. He gave the half-baked information to Zoo Press. And I don't think there is anyone in that hall who had the courage to ask him where he was arrested and the process he went through before bringing him back to the zoo country, Nigeria. So, fellow Biafrans, today is supposed to be a day of sad mourning for us all. It's supposed to be a day of sadness for us all, because it is not just because our leader was kidnapped. It was because our leader's whereabouts was kept a secret for us all. No one of us, not even one person, knew whereabouts of our leader for that 9 days. They kept him, they tortured him, they dehumanized him, and did all manner of evil things against him, torture, name them, against our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, before bringing him back to the zoo, Nigeria. And today, our leader is still there in the Nigerian DSS dungeon. And as you already know, appeal court has discharged our leader after looking into the charges, the frivolous charges against him. They could not find him guilty of any charges. It was just a frivolous charges. After looking into it, they decided that it is evil to keep him in detention. It is even evil to let him go through trials after the human rights violations of his right. He was kidnapped and he was extraordinarily renditioned back to Nigeria. That alone is enough to throw the case against him out of court. And as it is, rightly, the appeal court judges found it just the right thing to do. They threw away the case, they discharged our leader, and asked Nigerian courts to stop prosecuting him further. Now, fellow Biafrans, it will interest you to know that Nigeria, the same Nigeria, took Oyendu to court, pretending that they are going to follow the directives of the court. After the court looked into the case and found Oyendu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, not guilty, they decided that he should be left alone. They asked the Nigerian government to let him go. The same Nigerian government took him to court. The same Nigerian government refused to let him go. Up to today, they are still keeping him against the court directives. As it is today, Oyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not have any charges hanging around his head. There is no charges against him as it is today. He is not being charged of any crime or anything against him. The Nigerian government is keeping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the dungeon just because they can keep him there. They kept him there up to this moment because they think that they can do so. 2 years after, our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is still in court. In the Nigerian dungeon, DSS dungeon.
In Umuahia has ordered the federal government to pay the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, the sum of 500 million naira as damages.
Before I play, excuse me. Before I play that, I want you to remember that when our leader was abducted, kidnapped and was brought back to Nigeria, there was a lot of rumors. Nobody can pinpoint exactly the place where he was kidnapped. Now, when our leader's lawyer went to see him in DSS dungeon, in the person of Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor, our leader confided in him that he was kidnapped in Kenya. When Ifeanyi Ejiofor came out from DSS dungeon, he broke the news to the world that our leader was kidnapped in Kenya. Not anywhere else, but in Kenya. That was where he was kidnapped. This information was coming from Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor. And what happened? When the world and the IPOB started asking questions, how did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, how was he brought back to Nigeria? Did he pass through the right process, which is extradition process? This question was thrown to Kenyan government, who until now refused to agree that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was in Kenya and that he was kidnapped in Kenya. Kenyan government, in their evil and wickedness, denied this information coming from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They shamelessly denied it. Kenya government shamelessly denies this allegation. They denied it. They said no, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was never in Kenya. They said yes, because as you know, he has been in places and so many things are going on, so many people, so many allegations were being laid on his about his kidnap. Kenya government shamelessly misled the world. They didn't agree. Now we'll play to you where their ambassador to Nigeria granted press release. He made a press release denying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was never kidnapped in Kenya. Now listen as I play it.
I want to address this allegation by denying that Kenya was involved in the alleged arrest in Kenya and extradition to Nigeria of Mr. Kanu. And I repeat, I want to address this allegation by denying that Kenya was involved in the alleged arrest in Kenya and extradition to Nigeria of Mr. Kanu. To us, therefore, these allegations are fictional, imaginary, and deliberately concocted to fuel antagonistic feelings amongst certain sections of the Nigerian people against the Kenyan people. And indeed, many countries have been accused. Rwanda, Czech Republic, Britain, Ethiopia, and God knows which other countries. I want to challenge anyone with the facts relating to this alleged arrest in Kenya to present these facts. This will include when, how, and who was particularly involved in the alleged arrest. And in any case, I believe we are all Nigerians. Nigeria is a sovereign country. It's your country. Instead of facing the Kenyan High Commission to Nigeria to ask some of these questions, you should face your own government. The government of Nigeria knows how they arrested, maybe in Nigeria, and took Kanu to court. They have the answers, not me. We are also disturbed, dismayed, and astonished by the unfortunate statement on this alleged arrest in Kenya, which was carried in the Nation newspaper today. The government of Kenya is particularly appalled by these spurious, derogatory, and libelous mention of the name of our dear president in this matter, as has been reported in the Nation, dated 2nd July 2021. It's unfortunate. I, as the High Commissioner of the Republic of Kenya in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, wish to categorically emphasize that our two countries, Kenya and Nigeria, have and continue to enjoy cordial diplomatic relations with both federal government of Nigeria and its great accommodating and amiable citizens. We have no intention of interfering with internal affairs of Nigeria, which includes arresting of our own citizens on matters of crime. Kenya is committed to sustain the historical bond of friendship between our two governments and the peoples of our two countries. We wish further to cement our diplomatic relations with a view to ensure mutually beneficial relations between our two countries. In conclusion, on this case of alleged arrest in Kenya of Mr. Kanu, I wish to categorically state here that we are not happy at this ridiculous attempt of dragging the name of Kenya and His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta on this matter of arrest and extradition of the self-acclaimed IPOB leader. Thank you for your audience.
You listen to him, you will be asking yourself, why would this man, at his age, this man practically denying the obvious. He knew the truth. All of them, the Kenyan government and Nigerian government, were involved, direct involved. Kenyan government were directly involved. If they are not directly involved, why have it taken them so long to come out to tell the world how or who is involved? He wants us to tell him who is involved in the kidnap. If we told him, he would have agree with us. He would believe us. He wants us to come and tell him your president is involved. Your president knows. Would he agree with us? He will say, no, it's not. We are not saying the truth. He came out here asking us to come and tell him who kidnapped our leader, who is involved in the kidnap of our leader. When he has not agreed that he was in their country. You can hear him. He mentioned Rwanda. He mentioned Czech Republic. He mentioned Ethiopia. He mentioned Britain. In his attempt to mislead the world, in his attempt to deny that Kenyan government and Nigerian government collaborated together in this evil. Remember, Nigerian government and Kenya government are in treaties. They have treaties together. They can easily take Mazi Nnamdi to court and establish their case against Mazi Nnamdi in order for them to extradite him to Nigeria. But because they know that it was not going to be possible, because Mazi Nnamdi did not jump bail. Mazi Nnamdi is not a fugitive. Nigerian government attempted to kill him and he ran away to save his life. Or would he have stayed back to be killed? If Mazi Nnamdi was killed in 2017, who would Nigerian government kidnap in Kenya? If Mazi Nnamdi was killed, who would they take to court today? Mazi Nnamdi escaped assassination attempt in his life, which everybody, every living thing can do that. You cannot see dead and you are going straight to be killed. No, you cannot see someone trying to kill you and you are going to the person to embrace him. You don't do that. You must run for your life. Kenya government and Nigerian government collaborated together as Attorney General Malami made us to understand. They collaborated with Nigerian security officers and intercepted Mazi Nnamdi. But up to today, Nigerian government cannot or have not revealed to the world how they did that. They haven't even come out to tell the world that Mazi Nnamdi was kidnapped in Kenya. They have not mentioned the country where Mazi Nnamdi was kidnapped. But they want the world to believe that they did the right thing. They want the world to support them. They want the world to agree with them that, yes, they did the right thing. Fellow Biafrans, today makes it 2 good years since Mazi Nnamdi was kidnapped in Kenya. Now, prior to that, a lot has happened in the past. A lot has happened. Several court case judgments, several people coming out to say their mind about everything that happened in the case of Mazi Nnamdi. Now, I want you to listen to this. The
government has not really clearly, I stand to be corrected, given us clarity on the circumstances of his arrest, whether he was extradited to Nigeria, or that they have told us is that he was arrested based on the collaborative efforts of intelligence and security agencies. Of course, there are reports in the media that he may have been arrested in Kenya, he may have been arrested in some other place. The United Kingdom have come out to say he was not arrested within their country. So for me, I think for the sake of transparency, for the sake of accountability, and also to dispel speculations and rumors, I expect the Minister of Information or the Attorney General to come out clearly, in clear language, to explain to Nigerians the circumstances under which Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, because we know clearly he was not arrested within the territory of Nigeria. But that is on the one hand. The second point is that Nnamdi Kanu has a subsisting charge pending at the Federal High Court before Honorable Justice Bintan Yako in Abuja, where he was charged on certain, treasonable charges. He had, of course, jumped bail following the invasion of his home by the military, which he said was responsible for his inability to stand trial. So now that he has been brought back to the country, It is expected that the trial will resume. It is expected that the government will now present whatever evidence they have against him to show whether he committed an offense or not. But I do expect that his rights will be respected, he will be given fair hearing, he will be treated properly in the custody of the SSS, and will be given access to legal representation. You see, because part of the problem we have with this case is that while the government has filed charges in a court of competent jurisdiction, the same government is also taking some prejudicial steps that tend to suggest whether this is really a serious legal trial or a political rigmarole. I give two examples. The first is that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer has come under intense attack by the army. Is currently being wanted. His house has been invaded. We have seen evidence of that. Why will you be attacking the lawyer to somebody that you want to try on such serious charges? That gives the impression that the state is not really interested in prosecuting him. Because if they are interested in prosecution, bring the evidence before the court, show that he has committed an offense. Secondly, I also expect that now that the government has brought him into custody, the government will also explore the other aspect of the matter, which is the political agitation in the southeast. Because I do not believe for a second that the mere rearrest of Nnamdi Kanu and subjecting him to trial is going to totally stop the agitation for independence, for a separate country, or self-determination in the southeast.
Before we get to that agitation, I mean, that agitation is not just now in the southeast alone. It's almost in every part of the country. But before we get there, let's look at the fact that the Minister of Culture, Culture and Information, Lai Mohammed, has said that he has assured that the government will come down hard on all collaborators involved with the IPOP group and its leader, Nnamdi Kanu. He also said, and that's irrespective of their standing in the society. But there are those who have asked the federal government to tread with caution or move with caution in this case. And when you look at that in line with that advice or coming from several quarters, what does caution mean in this situation?
I believe that, you know, if there are people who are complicit, if there are collaborators, if there are accessories.
Did you hear what this man was saying, this barrister was saying? Exactly what I was saying before now. Nigerian government have not come out to tell the world where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was intercepted, according to them. They only told the world about the interception and the collaboration. They did not tell the world where he was intercepted in their own language. They didn't tell the world the process of extradition Mazi Nnamdi Kanu undergo before bringing him back to Nigeria. They did not tell the world how they invaded Kenya authorities' border. Because as far as we know, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not go through the main security process in airport. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was taken through the back door. He was extraordinary renditions back to Nigeria through the back door. Kenya government is not holding Nigeria responsible. Kenya government did not see it. Okay, you said you don't know about the Nigerian, the presence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in your country. You want the world to know or to believe you that you don't know, you didn't know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped in your country. Instead of you to hold Nigeria accountable for this impunity, for this evil, for this invasion of your borders, instead of you to see that your country has become so porous, instead of you to find out how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu could be taken or kidnapped in your country without your knowledge, you are coming to deny it. You are telling the world that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not kidnapped in Kenya. You want the world to believe you when the whole evidence is there. Remember that Mazi Nnamdi is not dead. He's alive to tell this. He knows where he was kidnapped. He knows. Mazi Nnamdi cannot come and tell the world I was in Kenya, kidnapped in Kenya, when he was not kidnapped in Kenya. What is he stand to gain by doing that? Kenya government, instead of them holding Nigerian government accountable for this evil committed against their state, because if it is indeed truth that Kenya government were not aware of this, it is total. It is a challenge against Kenya. Nigerian government has challenged Kenya. They have made Kenya to understand that they do not respect their integrity. They made Kenya to look so small, so porous, so useless, and everything you can think about. Nigerian government has proven to Kenya that they are nothing but empty and porous country. If Nigerian government can invade the security of Kenya, then it is the worst countries, one of the worst countries of the world. Kenya government should hold Nigeria responsible for this. Kenya government should come out. They should be suing Nigeria for doing this. They should be suing Nigeria. It is a shame to Kenya. It is a shame to them. Look at their high commissioner coming here to vomit nonsense. He wants the world to believe him. Look at him. Listen to him again. Listen to this man.
I want to address this allegation by denying that Kenya was involved in the alleged arrest in Kenya and extradition to Nigeria of Mr. Kanu. And I repeat, I want to address this allegation by denying that Kenya was involved in the alleged arrest in Kenya and extradition to Nigeria of Mr. Kanu. To us, therefore, this allegation are fictional, imaginary, and deliberately concocted to fuel antagonistic feelings amongst certain sections of the Nigerian people against the Kenyan people. And indeed, many countries have been accused. Rwanda, Czech Republic, Britain, Ethiopia, and God knows which other countries. I want to challenge anyone with the facts relating to this alleged arrest in Kenya to present these facts. This will include when, how, and who was particularly involved in the alleged arrest. And in any case, I believe we are all Nigerians. Nigeria is a sovereign country. It's your country. Instead of facing the Kenyan High Commission to Nigeria to ask some of these questions, you should face your own government. The government of Nigeria knows how they arrested, maybe in Nigeria, and took Kanu to court. They have the answers, not me. We are also disturbed, dismayed, and astonished by the unfortunate statement on this alleged arrest in Kenya, which was carried in the Nation newspaper today. The government of Kenya is particularly appalled by these spurious, derogatory, only libelous mention of the name of our dear president in this matter, as has been reported in the Nation, dated 2nd.
I can't continue listening to him. You know this man, what he's trying to do? He was asking us to tell him when, where, how, and who is involved, instead of them to go and find out this, and he wants us to go and do that for him. They already know. They know. He's only trying to mislead us so that we'll think that they don't know. He knows where. He knows when. He knows where. He knows how. And he knows who is directly involved in this kidnap. These people are evil. Kenyan government are evil. Kenyan government is evil. They are evil. Evil people. Evil government. He said, mentioning the name of their respected President Kenyatta, whatever his name is. Who is Kenyatta that we cannot mention his name? Kenyatta is directly involved. Kenyatta is directly involved. If not, what has he done? What has he done to unravel this mystery? Has he taken any step to bring Nigeria to pay for this complete disrespect to Kenyan integrity? What has they done? They have done nothing, because all of them are involved in this. Nigerian government and Kenya government are directly involved in this. We know they cannot deceive us. Nigerian government could not tell us where they intercepted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They could not tell the world where and how. They could not tell us who they collaborated with. They could not tell the world who they collaborated with. They could not tell the world how they brought Mazi Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria. They could not tell us the court they took him in the said place where they has intercepted him. They could not tell the world anything. And the world is not asking question. The world is not asking question because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not from Britain. I mean, it's not from America. He's not a white person. If he were to be a white person, they would have been asking question. Listen to what is going on in Ukraine today. People are dying in Biafra land on a daily basis. People have been disappearing on Biafra land on a daily basis. Nobody is asking question because we are not from Ukraine. We are not from Ukraine. The number of people dying in Biafra land on a daily basis, the number of people disappearing in Biafra land on a daily basis, at numbers, the number of people dying in Ukraine and Russia as it is today. But who is asking question? Who? Nobody is asking question. Nobody is talking about it because our lives does not matter to them, to the world. It does not matter to the world. It does not matter to them. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's kidnap and extraordinary rendition to Nigeria is nothing to talk about. The world think is nothing to talk about. Even when it is international crime, even when it is international crime, even when the world should be talking about it, they decided not to talk about it. Today marked 2 years. 2 years an innocent man was kidnapped. 2 years an innocent man was extraordinary rendition. 2 years an innocent man is being kept in the dungeon of the DSS dungeon. Today makes it 2 years. 2 years, and nobody seems to be talking about it. The world is not talking about it. The Americans are not talking about it. The Europeans are not talking about it. The African people are not talking about it. Nobody is talking about this evil committed against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody seems it as necessary to talk about, because we are not from Ukraine. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a Ukraine person. He's not from Ukraine. That is why it's not worthy of to talk about. That is the reason why it is not worthy to talk about, because he's not from Ukraine. He's not an European. He's not a white person. He doesn't have a white skin. Biafran lives does not matter. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life and human rights does not matter. You want us to talk about Ukraine. You want us to talk about the war in Ukraine. But you don't want us to talk about the crime committed or is being committed against us, the Biafrans. You don't want us to talk about our leader who was kidnapped in another country and extraordinarily renditioned back to another country. You don't want us to talk about it. Britain don't want us to talk about it. Britain don't want to talk about it. The American people does not want us to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. UN does not want to talk about it. They don't want us to talk about it. African Union does not want to talk about it. They don't want us to talk about it. The EU does not talk about it. They don't want us to talk about it. The world does not want us to talk about a prisoner of conscience in the person of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today makes it 2 years. 2 years. Our leader was kidnapped in Kenya. 2 years. 2 good years. Nigeria does not have any case against him, and the world does not see that. Nigeria does not have any charges against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The world does not see that. They don't see it as anything, as a concern to talk about. They want us to talk about gay rights. They want us to talk about gay rights and lesbian rights. They want us to talk about it. But they don't want us to talk about innocent man, a prisoner of conscience, a political prisoner who has been kidnapped, kept under Nigeria torture. Even when there is no charges against him. Now, I want us to listen. I want us to listen.
In Umuahia has ordered the federal government to pay the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra.
The government has not really clearly, I stand to be corrected, given us clarity on the
in Umuahia has ordered the federal government to pay the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, the sum of 500 million naira as damages following his illegal abduction and human rights abuse from Kenya. The court also ordered the federal government to return him to Kenya from where he was extradited to Nigeria on the 19th of June last year. The court presided by Justice Evelyn Ayandike insisted that the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya without recourse to the legal process was a flagrant abuse of his fundamental human rights. Justice Ayandike held that the respondent failed to disprove the claims of his applicants that he was arrested, blindfolded, tortured, and chained to the ground for 8 days in Kenya before his extradition to Nigeria. Mr. Kanu, through his special counsel, Aloy Jubako, had approached the court challenging his extradition from Kenya. The court dismissed the federal government's objection to his jurisdiction and upheld all the reliefs sought by Kanu.
Or to restore Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to the status quo antebellum, to his status as of June 19, 2021. And that prayer was granted. What it means is that the government is now required to take steps to restore Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya, or if they wish, to his country of second nationality, which is the United Kingdom. And then the next most important relief, as far as we are concerned, is halting his prosecution. So we are happy with the outcome, and we believe that this judgment today has strengthened the previous judgment of the Court of Appeal on 13th October.
In Umuahia has ordered the federal government to pay the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, the sum of 500 million naira as damages following his illegal abduction and human rights abuse from Kenya. The court also ordered the federal government to return him to Kenya from where he was extradited to Nigeria on the 19th of June last year. The court presided by Justice Evelyn Ayandike insisted that the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya without recourse to the legal process was a flagrant abuse of his fundamental human rights. Justice Ayandike held that the respondent failed to disprove the claims of his applicants that he was arrested, blindfolded, tortured, and chained to the ground for 8 days in Kenya before his extradition to Nigeria. Mr. Kanu, through his special counsel, Aloy Jubako, had approached the court challenging his extradition from Kenya. The court dismissed the federal government's objection to his jurisdiction and upheld all the reliefs sought by Kanu.
Or to restore Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to the status quo antebellum, to his status as of June 19, 2021. And that prayer was granted. What it means is that the government is now required to take steps to restore Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya, or if they wish, to his country of second nationality, which is the United Kingdom. And then the next most important relief, as far as we are concerned, is halting his prosecution. So we are happy with the outcome, and we believe that this judgment today has strengthened the previous judgment of the Court of Appeal on 13th October.
You can hear him. Aloy Jubako said he was arrested on the 19th of June, being today, 2021. That is why I'm here this morning to remind us that our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was released. An instruction by a court of competent jurisdiction in Abia State, told Nigerian government to return Mazi Nnamdi Kanu back to Kenya or to Britain and pay him the sum of 500 million naira for violating his human rights, for torturing him for 8 days, and for bringing him back to the zoo, Nigeria. This was the instruction of a competent court of jurisdiction in Abia State. Did Nigerian government obey this order? The answer is no. Why? Because Nigeria is a lawless country. Nigeria does not obey their own laws. Nigeria is better still addressed as a banana republic. Nigeria is a country that does not know what it is to obey their own laws, nor the laws of the international community. That is why they did not see it necessary to obey their own courts. That is why they did not find it necessary to obey the appeal court's order. That is why they did not find it necessary to obey the order of Federal High Court in Abia State. Nigeria is a lawless country and is not fit to be seen or addressed as a country. Nigeria is a zoo. Nigeria is a banana republic. I want the world to talk about this evil. I want the world to talk about this evil. It is evil to kidnap. It is evil to extraordinary rendition anybody from another country to the other, from one country to other. It is evil. It is against the international laws. The world is against it. If the world is against it, why is the world not condemning this evil? Why is the world not condemning this evil? Or is the law for a specific people? Is this law of extradition for a specific people? Why is the UN not talking about it? Why is the UN not talking about it? I want someone to answer me. Why is the UN not talking about it? Why? Evil is evil, and it must be condemned anywhere it is seen. It must be condemned anytime, anywhere. It must be condemned. The world must talk about it. 2 years is a lot of time. 2 years. Two years equals to 730 days for an innocent man to be incarcerated. Why is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu still being kept in the dungeon? Why is the UN not talking about it? Why is Britain keeping silent about it? Why is the American president keep silent about this? Why? They should talk about it. 2 years is not 2 days. 2 years is not just 2 weeks. 2 years is a lot of time for an innocent man to be kept under torture. It is a lot of time for an innocent man to be kept in the dungeon. The world should talk about it. The world must talk about it. The UN must revisit this. The UN must come back to this. They have aired their views about it in the past. It is time for them to talk about it again. I'm calling for the UN Working Committee to revisit this, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. They must revisit it. It is time for them to talk about it again. It's time for them to call Nigeria to order. It's time for the world to talk about it. Enough of this evil. Enough of this impunity. Enough of this wickedness. 2 years is enough. Enough is enough. 2 years is enough. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released. The world must talk about it. I call on the world to talk about this evil. They should call Nigeria to order. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you must release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not have any business being in detention. Ahmed Bola Tinubu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not have any business being there in the dungeon. He is innocent. He is. In the past, you were with Nedeko. You, at least once in your life, you were identified with freedom fighting. It is time for you to prove that it was not a hoax. It's time for you to prove that it's not a deceit, that indeed you are a Democrat. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now. Prove that you are a Democrat, as you claim. Prove it. And release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He is innocent. There is no case against him. He's been there in the dungeon. Is a crime against humanity. He's been there. It's a crime against a violation of his right to live, to life, to freedom. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released. 2 years is enough for an innocent man to be incarcerated. 2 years is enough for an innocent man to be kept in the dungeon. 2 years is enough for an innocent man to be kept under torture. 2 years is enough. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now. Fellow Biafrans, we must continue to call the attention of the world to the predicament of our leader. Those in the leadership level in IPOB, it is time for you people to do the right thing. It is time for you people to join your hands together and do something about your leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Chike Doziem, it is time for you to come out of your... Okay, let me save the word. It's time for you to talk about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's time for you to do something about your leader who is being kept in dungeon. This is not time for you to work against him. Enough. If you don't want to continue to fight for the freedom of our people, it is time for you to resign and relieve yourself of this duty which you occupy today in IPOB. Mazi Chike Doziem, if you don't have what it takes, it is time for you to relieve yourself of your duties and allow those who have everything that it takes to call the shot. 2 years is not 2 days. 2 years is a lot of days. It's 730 days. Have pity on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. All of you in the DOS that are working against Oyendu, have pity. Have pity. He did not do anything wrong against you. Have pity and work for his release. Fellow Biafrans, as you already know, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has spent 2 years in the dungeon of the DSS. It's time for you to join your hands together. Pray if you know how to pray. Whatever you know how to do, do it. If there is anything that you are doing today that is not in line with the antics of IPOB, ethics of IPOB, if it is not in line with our ideology, it's time for you to come out of it and start doing the right thing today. Start doing the right thing. Start doing the right thing. Fellow Biafrans, this is what I decided to bring to your attention, because so many of us might forget, or rather forgot, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have spent 2 good years in the dungeon of DSS. And that is why I've come here to bring it to your attention, so that you know and a lot of water has gone through under the bridge. Mazi Nnamdi has passed through a lot. He has passed through a lot of torture, and he is still standing. God has blessed us with a leader, the person of Mazi Nnamdi. Shall be well with him. Anybody that says that Mazi Nnamdi will not live, that person will die before him. Anybody that is working against the release of Mazi Nnamdi, whoever you are, listen, you are going to be disgraced. Chukwu Okike Abia Amapụrụ ihe niile will disgrace you, and the curse that our oath placed upon you shall come, shall haunt you, and shall haunt your generation after you. You that is working against the progress of Biafra restoration, you will never, never succeed. It shall never be well with you. It shall never be well with your generation. You are endangering the lives of over 70 million people. Because of this, you will never succeed. Everything you are doing will turn against you. Mazi Nnamdi will be released. He will be released. He will be released. Mazi Nnamdi will be released. I am telling you that he will be released. Soon he will release. All of you that is working against his release, you will use your hand and hang yourself. Because his coming out will be like a miracle. You will not understand it. You will not envision it. You will not understand it. You will not think about it. In fact, it will be like a shock to you. Mazi Nnamdi is innocent. And because of this, every weapon of the enemies against him must not prosper. It is well with him. And all of you that is standing for the right thing, all of you that is standing in the gap, all of you that says, no, over your dead body will you be corrupted, over your dead body will you join the enemies of Biafrans, it shall be well with you. Continue doing what is right. Continue doing what is right. Chukwu Okike Abia will bless you and your generation. It shall be well with you. It shall be well with you. Anybody that says that because you are doing the right thing, that you are going to die, let me tell you something. That person will die before you. Whatever they are planning against you because you are doing the right thing, it will turn back and haunt them. Continue doing the right thing. Continue fighting for the release of Onyendu. Continue fighting for the restoration of Biafra. It shall be well with you. Don't change your mind. You are doing the right thing. Continue doing the right thing, and Chukwu Okike Abia Amapụrụ ihe niile will bless you. Fellow Biafrans, I thank you for joining me this morning in this program. This program was targeted on reminding us that our leader, Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi, has spent 2 good years in the dungeon of the DSS. This is the target of this program. And I believe that the message has been passed. Those who does not remember has remembered. Those who does not know has come to know. That Onyendu has spent 2 years in the dungeon of DSS. Continue to remind the world that Onyendu was discharged by appeal court. Continue to remind Nigerian government that as it is today, there is no charges against Onyendu. Continue to remind the Nigerian government that they are committing evil against an innocent person. Continue to remind them. I know that they don't have conscience. I know that being in Nigeria is enough to condemn you to eternal damnation. I know that being in Nigeria is evil. I know. But let me tell you, keep reminding them so that posterity will remember you. Continue to remind them that they are holding Onyendu against against his will. Remember the war that Kanu is being held in Nigerian against his will because there is no charges against him as it is now. Today, there is no charges against Onyendu. Nigerian government does not have any charges against Mazi Nnamdi. Nigerian government is only they have kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi and they continue to kidnap him. They continue to kidnap him because they think that nobody will do anything to them. They forgot that Chukwu Okike Abiam is on the throne. They forgot that he is watching them and he's counting it for them. That is the end of Nigeria. Listen, we are fighting for Biafra not because we are afraid to coexist with other people. We are fighting for Biafra not because we are afraid to compete with other nationalities. We are fighting for Biafra because we want our lives to be preserved. It is for the preservation of life. Nigeria is evil. Nigeria is a bad news. Nigeria is a concocted contraption. Nigeria is a contraption. Nigeria is not meant for the good of its citizens. Nigeria is the only country that kills its own citizens. Nigeria is the only country that kidnaps its own citizens. Nigeria is evil. You must talk against Nigeria. You must join us to disintegrate Nigeria. You must join us to save life. Biafra means life. Biafra means freedom. Biafra means kingdom of Chukwu Okike Abiama here on the planet of Earth. Biafra is for the good of humanity. Biafra will make the world proud. Biafra will make Africa proud. You as a Biafra, you will be proud of yourself. Anywhere you are, you will be proud of yourself. So join us to call the attention of the world for the restoration of Biafra. Join us to call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi, and Chukwu Okike Abiama will bless you and your generation. It shall be well with you. I thank you once again for joining me. My name is Mazi Nnamdi. I am Cape Town media host at the Chukwu Okike Abiama Grace. I am the coordinator of Parklands Unit here in Western Cape. May Chukwu Okike Abiama bless you as you continue to sharing this program, as you continue to tell the world about Biafra, as you continue to put it into Mazi Nnamdi. It shall be well with you and your generation. I say to you, good morning.